Okie dokie, boys and girls, it is day 15 of overcoming injuries, and today I want to talk about how you can guarantee success in just 30 days. And I'm going to do this in 5 steps. So, step 1, determine what success is, because if you're going to, achieve success in 30 days, first of all, you have to know what success means to you, right? So, I'm going to give an example. For me, my current goal is to overcome my injuries. Well, that's a bit vague, isn't it? So, you want to make it a bit more precise. And for me, overcoming the injury is going to be to run 100 kilometers or just about 100 kilometers every week. And also, I would like to be doing 100 pistol squat on a daily basis. So that's my success, that's the goal I want to achieve. And currently, I am running 35 kilometers every week and I'm doing walking intervals in between because my ankles are hurting. I'm not doing pistol squats because my ankles are hurting. So this seems quite unachievable, right, in 30 days? Well, that brings me to the second step, which is like, don't, which is forget about any time frame that you have in your mind, right? Oftentimes when we have a goal, let's say you want to achieve the full planche, we have this goal in our mind and we're telling ourselves, I want to achieve it by the new year. I want to achieve it in 6 months, right? We're giving ourselves a time frame and we're trying to rush everything within that time frame. Step 2 is to forget about it. Forget about your time frame. It's not important. You have more than enough time to achieve your goal, right? But if I'm not achieving my goal in, well, let's say the 30 days, how do I know that I have succeeded, right? Well, that brings me to step number 3, right? In order to achieve your goal, no matter how big it is better to divide it up into multiple parts, right? So for me, I want to do those 100-kilometer weeks. I want to do those 100 pistol squats every day, right? At the moment, I can do 0 pistol squats, pain-free, of course, and I can do, well, running, but it takes me quite a long time to just complete 5 kilometers, right? I can't run a long distance straight because it starts to hurt my ankle. So how do I get to those 100-kilometer weeks? If I try to imagine it right now, I can't imagine that entire process because it's too big. So what you want to do is you want to divide up your goal, divide it up into 2 parts, part 1 and 2, right? And so let's say part 1 is getting to 10 kilometers every day, 70 kilometers, right? And maybe just doing 10 pistol squats because I think the squats personally are the most painful for my ankle, right? So part 1 is just to get to those 70 kilometers. Again, a big goal. How do I get there? It's too big. Split it up and repeat this process until you have something that you can achieve today, or perhaps if you're watching this in the evening, go to bed, right? And something that you can achieve tomorrow, right? And so for me, if I boil it down, right, 70 kilometers a week, okay, first I need to manage those 35 kilometers in a pain-free way. I need to manage those 35 kilometers without walking. Okay, let's do that. And so that's what I'm currently doing. In order to achieve it, right, I have to basically, I can, on a daily basis, I can go for my run and I can monitor how it went. If it was painful, I can tone it down. If it was not painful, I can keep it there for a while until I'm completely pain-free. This monitoring phase, and I'm doing at the moment, is something I can do on a daily basis, and I'm gaining knowledge on a daily basis. So that's phase number 3, break up your goal in something that you can do in one day. Okay, step number 4, actually do it, right? Like I just mentioned, I broke down my goal. First of all, I need to achieve 35 kilometers or 5 kilometers every day in a pain-free manner. Now I can analyze for myself how I can manage this. How can I get to those 5 kilometers? And this is something that is, quite feasible, right? I can look at my daily 5-kilometer run. I can think to myself, well, how am I going to run it? Am I going to do walking in between? Am I going to do, I'm going to do squats, but how can I do squats that don't put pressure on my ankle? These are things that I can learn about on a daily basis. So now I have something that's manageable, right? And that's really step 4, is just take the first step, right? Do day number 1. That's step number 4, I guess, right? Get to day number 1, right? Do it. Note down or think to yourself, what have you done? What have you learned, right? And you have to kind of keep that knowledge in mind when you go to the day number 2, right? And in this step number 4, you just repeat that 30 times. Or if you train 3 times a week, you repeat it 3 times a week. But oftentimes, for me, if you're truly stuck, right, and you've been trying for a while and you haven't been finding success, break your goals down so small that you can do something on a daily basis. Because if you can do something on a daily basis, that's a high frequency, right? You have a daily opportunity to learn something. You have a daily opportunity to move forward a little bit. Whereas if you're training very hard, but only once a week, that's one opportunity every week that you have to basically learn something, to achieve something. And well, in the context of bodybuilding, where you want to go as hard as possible and then allow your muscle to rest, that's very good. But let's say you're trying to achieve a skill or overcome an injury. Basically, it's small, or it's, in my opinion, better to have smaller iterations and have them more frequently, because that allows you to learn more frequently, right? Those smaller iterations are easier to adjust. And then you have step number 5, right? You get to day number 30, right? And probably you haven't achieved your goal yet. If your goal is the full planche, it's almost impossible to achieve the full planche in 30 days, right? Or if in my case, right, I'm running, I'm not at those 100-kilometer weeks yet, like in 30 days, perhaps I'll be lucky if I'm running 35 kilometers pain free, right? Perhaps I'll be lucky if I get to stage number 1, or even worse, perhaps I haven't progressed. Perhaps it's still painful. But after 30 days, look back at the 30 days you put in, right? And determine for yourself, what have you done now? And oftentimes, right, even if you haven't progressed physically, something I forgot to mention here, success is not just defined by achieving your goal, it's defined by any improvement at all. At least you will have progressed mentally, you will have progressed on the base of knowledge, right? You will have learned something, or you will have achieved a greater mindset. Because guess what? If you're putting in work for 30 days and you're just honest with yourself, it's gonna feel good no matter what the result. Because it's almost impossible that if you truly, put your mind to something for 30 days and you just do whatever you can on a daily basis, that at least you didn't learn something. And as long as you're learning something, you will see new possibilities. And those possibilities in itself are, in my opinion, a success. And that's the worst case scenario, right? Keep this in mind. That's the worst case scenario. What will probably happen is that you make some progress physically as well in your training. And so you start to see a way out, you start to see a path toward your final goal. But don't rush your final goal, right? At the end of those 30 days, just repeat what you've done before, right? Look at what you have achieved and then think, where do you have to go? What's feasible? What can I do in a day? And then do it. And just repeat it, right? And that's, I think, in my opinion, how you guarantee success. Because as long as you keep going every day and you don't give up, you're bound to get somewhere if you truly try and head in that direction. But anyway, that's gonna be it for today's training. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for a push day.